is simple. Whatever happened to no more pay-per-view starting in November? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was announced. Didn't Turkey Al Rashid say that? I unless I was dreaming, he said it on air. No more pay-per-views beginning in November. I know this weekend's is a pay-per-view for the Joseph Parker and Wardley fight, and so you figure, okay, well, we're still in October, right? Well, I saw that the Zone has posted that they are going to include what the way the verbiage was with the post that I saw was that the Zone is changing their subscription rate, and they're going to include the pay-per-views with your subscription. Now, to me, that's kind of a bait and switch, man. I mean, that's telling me that there's still going to be pay-per-views, but if you pay the extra price for the zone, you'll get the pay-per-views. I still ask, what happened to the no pay-per-views? And by the way, while we're talking about Turkey Al Rashid, rumor has it that he and Zuffa Boxing are going to be starting a streaming type service as well, where or at least a plan that you can sign up for and get all of those fights. I mean, this is sounding a lot like the PBC and the way they started. I got an email from Alex T, the other Alex, and he mentions exactly this. He said, "Did you see on DAZN? Did you see that DAZN announced the Benavidez and Yarde fight will be a pay-per-view? This is one of Turkey Al Rashid's shows too. So much for no more pay-per-views. I just canceled my subscription. It ends in February. I doubt I will ever renew." Um, thanks for the email, Alex. The thing is that the Zone definitely has it's the place for fights. There's no question about it. But listen, to me, it sounds like the PBC all over. If you remember, the PBC, they started out flooding us with all kinds of fights. It was on every network known to man. They were all free. Everybody's jumping for joy, saying the PBC saved boxing. Oh, ba 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 ba. And if you remember, they had a huge war chest full of money. They spent it all. And next thing you know, there's no more free fights. And every fight they've done that I can recall in the last couple of years have been pay-per-views. And they're all shit fights, too. I've been telling everybody since I've been doing this show for 22 years and counting, that boxing and boxing's fans are the most fleeced fans of all sports. I mean, think about it. Major League Baseball games, free. The World Series, which is starting Friday, free. NFL football games, free. The Super Bowl, free. NHL games, free. The Stanley Cup Series, free. NBA games, free. NBA championship, free. You get the picture. It's all free. No boxing. You want to be a boxing fan, you got to pay out the ass for boxing. And here's the best part: they're shit fights generally. Very rarely are we getting good fights on boxing. I mean, let's face it. Even these I'm going to break down this fight this weekend. I don't think that's a pay-per-view worthy fight at all. I mean, I love both of these fighters, Parker and Wardley, but this isn't a pay-per-view caliber fight. Somebody told me, oh, well, in England it is. That's not what I hear. That's not their correspondence and social media conversations that I have. There's a lot of people in England and all throughout the United Kingdom that feel that this should not be a pay-per-view. And here in the States, if you're trying to spread your product and you're trying to get your fighters known, you listen. the way fights used to be promoted was what I call grassroots promoting. And there's only a couple of these promoters left. Jimmy Birchfield from CES Boxing is one of them. Speedy Rashidi Ellis is the main event of their November 1st card, who's scheduled to join us in a little bit. I'm going to be ringside for that. I can't wait to be at one of these shows because they're so lively. The fans are there. It's interactive. The fights are usually extremely competitive and exciting. But these guys are becoming far and few in between. Bobby Hitz is another one out of the Chicago area. He's going to be joining us in another couple of weeks, talking about his pro career as a heavyweight and his promotional stuff. So, I mean, these kinds of guys, what they do is sell tickets. They sell advertising. You buy a program, and they go out there and they're knocking on doors, and that's how they're putting these events on. It just seems like some of these bigger fights, they just want to charge you and give you a non-competitive fight, and it's getting old. I've been saying this since doing the show. All the boxing fans would have to do is say no. My man coach is saying DeBella's Broadway boxing. Yeah, but when was the last time Lou did a show? I haven't seen any. If he's doing it, he's not promoting it the way he used to. You know, he says, Coach also makes a comment in the chat room. He says, the pay per view has a limited audience reach and fan engagement. Free or subscriptions have more sport growth, a la Paramount and Netflix. Super Bowl generates enormous revenue from advertisers and sponsors. Well, that the Super Bowl, first of all, football is a mainstream sport, like all the other team sports I mentioned. So, yes, you have way more eyes on the games, and therefore your sponsorships are worth a lot of money. But since boxing is not a mainstream sport anymore, um, you know, in order to get more eyes on the sport, you need to put your product in front of them. Coach mentions Netflix. Well, the most watched fight in the history of television was the Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight. Why? Because it was on Netflix. Yes, you had to subscribe to Netflix, but anybody that already is, and they had, what was it, over 40 million people watched that fight. Now, did it create fans? Maybe it created fans for Netflix. We'll see. We'll see. These pay-per-views, especially with fights, before you can sell a product, you have to promote the product. You have to make the product, viable for the fans. So Terrence Crawford and Canelo specifically, was already a name in the sport. And to have Canelo on Netflix, and then what Terrence Crawford did by challenging himself and moving up in the weight classes, et cetera, it all added to that. And I know that as far as I can recall, I think the Jake Paul Tank Davis fight is also going to be on Netflix. And, that's kind of a circus performance. It's an exhibition. It reminds me of Stanley Ketchel trying to fight Jack Johnson. And everything that I've seen, Tank Davis, can't keep a straight face. I mean, this is WWE. I don't anticipate it being anything real. Tank Davis has been honest about saying that it's a money grab for him, and he's kissing the sport goodbye. So okay. So Boxing Insider, coaches tell me DeBella's working with them. Yeah, well, it's not boxing. It's not Broadway boxing anymore, but those cards are decent. And the Boxing Insider, that promoter's, I've talked to him. He's clearly not making any money yet, and they've been showcasing a lot of young, up and coming talent with that series. And from what I understand, he's not even signing them. So I don't know where that's going to go. But